Pow, 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 pow.
With how quickly video games are producing new kinds of narrative, the medium is just as quickly creating diverse and unique ways of making comedy. There's something for everyone with humor in video games, and so you're probably gonna have your own selection of quips, actions, and moments that just do it for you like that. These are the 10 video game characters that make me laugh the most and laugh the hardest. They're obviously not the truth about video game characters in comedy, but come to think about it, these guys would probably laugh me off stage if I tried to sell my thoughts as fact anyways. With all that said, this is my top 10 funniest video game characters. Enjoy. Starting off this list is one of my childhood favorites, Kazooie from, well, the Banjo-Kazooie series. Because what's the best kind of foil for your lovably simple-minded player character? A shrill, mean-spirited bird that picks apart everything around her with total sarcastic gusto. Kazooie's snarky, dickish quips contrast so much with all of the colorful and kid-friendly imagery in this series that it's like it all suddenly becomes a Mystery Science Theater episode whenever she opens her beak.
Barney, do you have my scissors?
Pediatrics don't get... Well, what's this?
About to rescue Banjo's sister? Kazooie calls her ugly. Just cuz. Banjo thinks there's no one in the room? Kazooie comments that a boss fight's coming because of the freaking music. Kazooie's total irreverence to all the whimsy around her is a lot like how Monty Python might handle such a setting, down to some suspect comments like this. Heh, he's got bark breath. He blows other googly-eyed trees. While Kazooie's amusing for her rude brand of British humor, it's doubly so because of the way Banjo usually reacts to her quips. Kazooie, we're already pushing the rated E. Kazooie's humor is the kind that takes you aback at that sudden burst of tonal dissonance. She still makes me laugh, and while you could say that her jokes are pretty tame by today's standards, just remember that she came from the same series that brought us... Yeah, that was allowed. I tell ya, Fawful from the Mario and Luigi games is less batshit insane and more shitting bats insane. You remember those old games like Zero Wing with crappy translations that are gut-bustingly funny because of the awkward phrases they make? Fawful's obviously an homage to that, though my question initially is why? To which I immediately correct myself with, nah, I don't give a shit. Literally the only reason anyone remembers Fawful is because of how his nonsensical speech patterns completely clash with everyone else around him. He started off as a generic sidekick villain otherwise, but this guy became popular enough to survive exploding and become the main villain of Bowser's Inside Story. When this guy shows up, 9 times out of 10 he'll say something that you'll be telling random people afterwards to make them burst into confused laughter. Seriously, mention Mustard of Doom to anyone out of context. Never fails. I mean, you could say that it's really just one joke with Fawful, but each of the countless catchphrases that come around because of his speech pattern are so unique in their utter daftness that Fawful has to be guaranteed a spot here. Because what else can you say about a guy who has no beef? That sucks. I'd totally grab a burger with him. I'll just have the number 8. You know those pieces of fiction where the main character is aided on a quest by mysterious beings from a world with different rules of reality? If Persona 3 FES is anything to go by, if you become friends with one of them, all sorts of supernatural hijinks happens. Even in Persona 3's original release, Elizabeth was shown to be this strange woman who, while fascinated by and wanting to learn more about humanity, doesn't quite get our world. She's the kind of person where if you showed her an anatomic model human, she wouldn't find it morbid, and then she'll accidentally pop off its face. Yeah, those moments are cute, but what really lands Elizabeth on this list is the fact that in the remakes of Persona 3, you can take her out of her own universe to go on dates. From the start of them on, it's just one giant guessing game of chaos! Seriously, the Elizabeth dates are unpredictable in the greatest way. You want a normal hangout at the mall? Elizabeth comes prepared with a bottomless purse and floods a fountain with coins. Then she shows off her... moves? Want to play at the shrine? Elizabeth somehow turns a slide into a profound metaphor, and then she tries out the jungle gym where...
I can't get out.
Oh, Elizabeth never changed. I should feel guilty about this choice since most of the laughing is technically done at Elizabeth's expense, but Elizabeth seems to have so much fun learning about the world that it's impossible not to find her antics endearing and enjoyable. Throughout all of her misadventures, she wears that same charming smile and speaks in that same whimsical, sultry tone.
How wicked.
And hey, if you're gonna date anyone, better go with the person who can make you laugh. Or, you know, you could go out with Fuka. She'll make you laugh.
Akihiko Senpai defeated an enemy.
Akihiko Senpai defeated an enemy. You know, Dante from the Devil May Cry series wasn't always funny. In the first 2 games, he was just kind of awkward, teetering on this line between outdated 90s cheese and cringeworthy moments of serious demon business. So, how do you make such a generally ridiculous concept like a demon hunter actually work?
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Ah! It's genius! Now all we need is for Virgil to become one of them super vegans! Ladies and gentlemen, the Hot Topic Circus! Seriously though, I'll stop with that shit. This is Dante from Devil May Cry 3 and 4.
Let's rock!
This version of Dante is one of those guys who's not just funny, but one whose kind of humor even reflects how he develops. I mean, sure, he's fun to watch in DMC3. Guy can kill demons while eating pizza, and he flirts with himself before fighting the main villain. But he's taken to a whole new level of cool in DMC4. He's come to terms with his heritage by now, so there's pretty much nothing stopping Dante from making a total joyride out of killing demons. Faced with a villain who likes to overact, Dante turns their battle into an overacting contest.
Said it! The price to pay for power!
Gigantic statue demon is revealed, he doesn't bat an eye.
Check it out. It's got wings.
He gets a new stabbing weapon. All the penis innuendos you can handle. The point of all this is that, yeah, even before the reboot, Dante's jokes weren't really all that witty, but they work and make us laugh here because the character is written and acted competently. Dante in Devil May Cry 3 and 4 was written knowing that the character is silly, but that you should also care about how silly he is because of his development into a worthy fighter and a confident protector. He's a character whose legacy of enjoyability will continue to rock on. This next character has been talked about so much in reference to video game humor that I really don't think I can say anything new about it. So you're just gonna have to settle for a random musical segment. Me. 6 is the great mighty poo, because it's a turd that sings to you. Its humor's not witty, in fact it's literally shitty, but it's so strange that you can't go wrong with that.
Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin? Have some more caviar.
This boss's strength is its audacity. TPing singing shit would normally be quite daft. Its use in the remake was a pity, cause why the fuck would you censor it, Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Yes, Microsoft! God damn it, Rare. With such a diverse cast of funny men as the crew from Team Fortress 2, at least one of their styles of humor is bound to make you laugh to the point where you'll produce a bottle of Girardi from piss. I mean, just to name a few, you've got the loud, annoying, all-American scout, the inventively crazy medic, and my personal favorite, the spy. I'd describe this guy as sophisticated as coitus. I mean, sure, at first glance he's all cool-headed, guy can basically say to his team, "Yes, I did do the French twist with Scout's muzzle. Big deal, let's go kill some Reds." But when you start playing as the spy and you begin to get kill streaks...
Perhaps they can bury you in that van you call home. I'm looking at your x-ray, and I'm afraid you suck! Giddy up now? To hell! Oh, soldier, who will they ever find to replace you? Anyone! What's the matter? Fat got your tongue?
Oh yeah, the spy is a total sadist and it's great. I just love the idea of this suave professional who looks like he might be one of the few sane characters, but on the inside he's possibly even worse than the medic or heavy for how much he delights in killing people and mocking their suffering. It's like he gets the same kind of gratification from killing these people as he does boning Scout's mother. I've touched upon Mad World's wild cast of characters in a few other videos, but for how cool most of them are visually, the two best characters in the game are the only two you never physically see. These two are the announcers of Deathwatch.
Howard Buckshot Holmes and Crease Creeley.
While their personalities and stories are pretty entertaining on their own, with Crease being a former combatant in Deathwatch and Howard being there for no reason other than him being a sex maniac and that's funny, they're this high for how the two play off of each other.
Crease, didn't the two of you have a thing a while back?
If by thing you mean a 5-minute fight that left me spitting teeth and pissing blood, yeah.
Howard and Crease are played by Greg Proops and John DiMaggio, respectively. Both are established voice actors and comedians, with Proops being on both versions of Whose Line Is It Anyway, and DiMaggio being, well, Bender. With such a history, their resulting conversations are fucking gold. Crease's whole, "man, I've seen some shit" routine takes Howard's excitability and constant sex jokes and twists them into full-on punchlines.
I still don't understand why a city has giant saw blades all over the place.
Are you a city engineer?
Well, I'm not a city
Well then shut the fuck up. They don't come up here and tell you how to be a commentator.
Hell, the same is even true in reverse, with Howard testing Crease's straight man attitude with some interesting anecdotes.
That guy is getting rammed from behind harder than your ex-wife.
Although, to her credit, she doesn't buckle like that.
As these guys are constantly commentating on how you play the game, you'll be hearing them a lot. Though they always get new quips for each level and boss fight you enter, so they rarely tend to get old. Even if you hear them talk about injecting stuff into the folds of their scrotum more than once per level.
I can tell you from experience that those happy pills work even better if you grind them up and inject them into the folds of your scrotum.
I'll give you $1 if you can tell me one thing that isn't better if you grind it up and inject it into the folds of your scrotum.
And even then, with how solid the voice acting and interactions between these two are, they're still bound to make you crack a sadistic grin at both the insanity of the game and them heckling everything in sight.
How can you tell which one is the lead programmer?
He's the one not getting laid more than the other programmers.
You know, the Metal Gear Solid series is kinda silly when you get down to it. I mean, these are games that butcher common science while simultaneously hammering in political commentary. And even after games where you fight off President Dr. Octopus and all of Mother Russia, Senator Stephen Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising is the most amazingly on-the-nose political statement in the series. Okay, get this. This guy preaches his twisted politics with total passion, yet at the same time he can beat the crap out of Raiden and then talk a bit about how he used to play fucking football.
Played college ball, you know.
Half the time I don't even know if I'm supposed to be laughing at this guy, but in a weird way that almost makes him even funnier. Because what the hell else am I supposed to do in moments like these? Hey Steve, you say you want to crush the weak and change laws to suit the individual? Wait. Can you speak up? I can't hear you over your ass in my face. So, you hate American pride, huh? Tell me more about your time at the University of Texas while giving Raiden another punt across the arena and shouting,
Don't fuck with this, Senator!
to the cheers of an invisible crowd. They totally knew how awesomely dumb they were making Armstrong. I mean, in this year full of
Best writing ever, 6 out of 5, Gaming Citizen Kane. Jesus.
they must have had a field day writing this little exchange.
Why won't you die? Nanomachine, son.
Man, that's gonna be my new excuse for everything now. People using science to say Cloud killed Aerith? Fuck that shit! Sephiroth's sword killed her because nanomachines! I'm not one to be a fan of most internet memes.
The memes.
But I can't not love how stupidly crazy Armstrong and everything he does is. Don't fuck with this character! Oh, Hades. It's been ages since I've seen a villain this brilliantly self-aware. In a game like Kid Icarus Uprising that takes every opportunity to destroy the fourth wall that it gets, Hades knows that he's the villain and he loves spreading misery every step of the way.
Sadly, no. Though I do applaud any and all violence directed at you.
This is another one of those characters that is so gleefully evil that he seems to get this weird, almost sexual satisfaction from it.
Dang it, Hades! Get your filthy tricks out of my bone depot!
You're awfully cute when you're flustered, Rosebud.
More likely he just wants to make everyone squirm. The best part about Hades as a villain is that he goes out of his way to taunt his enemies, even when it's not his business.
Hey look! An exotank!
Hey look, who cares?
I mean, sure, he has this ever-growing army of heartless abominations, and while he could use his time to strategize his victories, he'd probably just say,
whatever, really, even the slightest potshot at Pit is worth the trouble so long as he suffers.
yeah, Hades is the textbook example of a troll in a video game. Hell, one of his default expressions is a friggin' troll face. What's endearing about Hades, though, is that the other gods can actually ignore him or even mock him for being the smarmy douche that he is. Not only is it cathartic to see Hades, of all people, get annoyed by something, but refreshingly it shows that he isn't as infallibly perfect a troll as he lets on. Unlike other examples. But even still, whenever he's around Pit, Hades always knows the right ways to exploit our hero's stupidity.
Besides, what do you mean by reincarnation, anyway?
No, being reborn as someone or something else.
Which means a different body, different memories, and different experiences, yes? So isn't being reborn as something else the same as being removed from existence?
Eating souls isn't right!
Hades is that awesome kind of villain where he is so chill and fun to watch that you can't help but root for him in the end despite how evil he is. He's living evidence toward the theory that comedy is derived from suffering.
Hades! Hit! Hades! Hit! Hades! It's on!
It's one thing for a character to be built entirely around one joke and have it work, but to make one who's so three-dimensional as to bridge together all kinds of jokes, that shit's almost inhuman. You might even say it was deliberately manufactured to be the greatest comedic intelligence ever in a video.
Just go.
Okay. Number 1 is GLaDOS from Portal.
Starting now, there's going to be a lot less conversation and a lot more killing.
Alright, my standard philosophy for this kind of thing is like and dislike what you want and don't be a fuckbad to people about it. But with GLaDOS, I honestly think it's harder by average not to like her because of how multifaceted her character is. And that's the amazing part. GLaDOS is a robot. She's a sarcastic, murder-crazy robot from a puzzle game where your end prize for completing her test is a cake. And this is somehow one of the most endearing characters I've seen in a video game. This robot has a voice actress solid enough to somehow convey all kinds of emotion while in a mechanical monotone.
That thing is probably some kind of raw sewage container. Go ahead and rub your face all over it. Maybe you should marry that thing since you love it so much.
This robot can somehow take the entire love you, hate you trope all the way out of the stereotypical anime high school.
Just kidding. I would never kill you. In public.
This robot can say things in such a way that they'd be funny even if you heard them out of context.
Didn't we have some fun, though? Remember when the platform was sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye, and you were like,
No way.
This robot can sing, too.
Goodbye, my only friend. Oh, did you think I meant you?
And if that wasn't enough for you, this isn't even getting into all of her personality components. Or, as the internet likes to call them, all of the memes!
Space! Fact, space does not exist.
One large rhubarb, one cross borehole, electromagnetic imaging rhubarb.
Really, GLaDOS could have easily been another typical evil AI villain in the same vein as HAL 9000 or Shodan. Instead, she has this enormous appeal because of how many senses of humor she covers, and how unique she is with both the human and alien charm of that personality of hers. Ellen McLean, you have earned your role in Pacific Rim and more for bringing to life my top funniest video game character. So there you have it. Thanks for watching Top 10 Funniest Characters, and be sure to stick around with me for next time, in which I do something. Shit. I got nothing. I'm gonna need probably a few more months to think of my next video, and well, gee, wonderful novel idea, random Pikachu doll that came out of nowhere. So make countdowns, Hades riffs, reviews in the same month all about Pokemon. Now, why don't you just tell my school teachers to add more work? Why don't you send an application to fucking NASA? You, Autarch. God damn it, Hades! What is it with you and your fascination with interrupting credits? Oh, but credit sequences are my favorite places to hang out in. They're like bars, you see. If you stick around long enough in them, you get to learn new things about all the people who contributed to the fine, dirty mess of the evening. Hades, you're an insult to bars. Oh, someone's prickly tonight. Though this can't possibly get on my nerves. All I have to do is think about how we're voiced by the same person, and how you wrote this dialogue, and how you're basically making fun of yourself, and then laugh. What? Shut up! You're not supposed to break the fourth wall like that! I am not insulting myself! Face it, you're me, and I am you. I may as well be your persona. How I look forward to the fan art. Why am I talking to myself?!
Kitty, I have something to show you.
My cock!